Hello to everybody out there, and welcome to another exciting, fabulous episode of the Terrorific Talk podcast. The podcast that answers one central question: why horror, and why do we love horror so much? On today's episode, I am going to be talking with three of the crew involved in the upcoming horror film You're Screwed. That is Jesse Schultz, Nicholas Morphew, and Peter Mittica. But first, I'm going to be starting with a brand new segment that I have added to my podcast called Brandy Recommends. And on this segment of Brandy Recommends, I have two films that I am going to recommend to you, and it is just because I am a John Carpenter fangirl, and I'm not going to assume that any of y'all have seen these. So the films that I'm going to recommend are John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween and the 2018 follow-up to Halloween. Now, the reason why I recommend that you all watch these two films together is because the one that recently came out last year is a direct sequel and follow-up to John Carpenter's 1978 version of Halloween. So, which means any of the quote-unquote sequels that came out immediately after the 1978 one are no longer in the continuity of Halloween. So yes, I highly recommend that you watch John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween and the 2018 version of Halloween. Yeah, if they're like, Michael Myers is loose again, I'm like, screw y'all, I'm out. I am so out. I am not going to do this anymore. And yeah, this is no. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the interview portion of the Terrorific Talk podcast. And with me this evening, I have Jesse Schultz, Nicholas Morphew, and Peter Mittica, who are all involved in the upcoming horror film You're Screwed. So good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
How are you all doing?
Pretty good.
Man, I am so excited to be able to interview you guys tonight, and I know that you are working hard on making sure everything is getting ready and prepared for release. So thank you so very much for taking some time out of your evening to come on and talk to me about horror in your film. I greatly appreciate it.
Oh, yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, like on Twitter, for those of you who just came in, just like they randomly popped up on my timeline. I don't remember like who or what or why. And I was like, this is such an interesting concept for a horror film. So it's like, I have to grab these guys. Because I want to help try and get the word out there about your film.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So let me go ahead and I'm going to let you all introduce yourselves. So I'm going to stop talking for a minute and you can take over. Just introduce yourselves, what your roles are in this film.
Okay. My name's Nicholas Morphew. I'm writing the script right now. We're all writing and directing it. My character in the movie is going to be the boyfriend to what's known as the trope, the final girl. I'm going to be the supportive role, just try to really well-round her character and my own at that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm Jesse Schultz, director, producer. We're all really equally involved in building and creating and writing and everything with this movie. We're also all starring in it to a degree, which is kind of fun. So going back to the old days of film when we didn't have all of these people. This is more of a project. You can think almost like a college project. What was the movie that they made with
Evil Dead?
Evil Dead.
Yeah,
so
Six
that's
Friends
one of our
and
things. So that was made in Michigan.
Yep.
I mean, 20 miles from where I grew up. So that was a huge inspiration for this whole thing.
Oh, wow.
And I'm Peter Mittica. I'm helping produce, and I will be acting as one of the killers, the Fiend.
Oh my goodness, that would be a fun role to play. I think if I was going to be in a horror film, I want to be like a psycho or a killer or something like that.
Yeah, right.
So much fun.
There's been so many movies out lately that didn't really scare us, and I'm sick of seeing 9-year-old girls come out of TVs. And I'm a kid. I'm a product of the early '80s, so I've always wanted a throwback to slasher films, like I was, influenced by Freddy, Candyman, and so forth. So I decided, why not make a slasher that I would want? And so that's where the Fiend is going to come in.
Right.
Oh, cool. I can't wait to see, like I said, I'm already excited for this film to come out. And it's just like, if I could, on the VCR press fast forward and the film could come out now, that would probably be, really great. But alas, we can't do that.
Yeah, I would love you to be able to do that because most of the hard work would be done by then.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I mean, if that was a thing, I mean, that would work.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, so before we start getting into the film, we'll have plenty of time to talk about that. I always start off each podcast with the question, why horror? So that is the central question behind this podcast. So what is it about this genre that makes you all love it so much?
That was pretty much my answer to that question before.
Yeah.
It's, I wanted a throwback 80s slasher, the ones I grew up loving. And it just, I don't know if it's just that I'm dated, but those aren't happening really anymore. So when my buddies came to me about this idea, I jumped on it as fast as I can because between my love of horror movies and rock and metal music, I know that there's certain things that I can bring back and bring to a new audience.
Right. And we're also so tired of it's always the same thing. I mean, if you look back at horror in the past, it was a lot of supernatural. Freddy was supernatural. Jason was supernatural. It's all supernatural. I tell my kids all the time, why are you scared of a monster? Monsters don't exist. People exist. People are scary. If you look back at movies, recently, like Strangers 2, all that kind of stuff, that's terrifying. We live in a world where everything we do can be scary because we're surrounded by human beings. And that's what we want to bring into the focal point. Go into the 80s slasher, but make it realistic. Almost like kind of like Psycho, but with more rawness, blood, gore, sadness, possibly no hope.
No!
And for me, I've always loved horror movies because I love something with a good story, a good background, a good lore. I mean, the certain movies like the Chucky films or the Freddy movies, the Jason movies for that matter, even video games like Bloodborne, where they can have books and books and books written just about the stuff you don't see. And I'm a huge fan of the lore and everything. And so I was drawn towards horror movies because we could shoot and write as much as we can on things that we're not putting in the movie.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of surprised to hear I can't talk. Let me rephrase that. So I'm kind of surprised to hear that you didn't mention Halloween because as some horror enthusiasts know or think or know, depending on what their stance is, John Carpenter's 1978 Halloween is what started the whole slasher genre.
Right, and there's going to be elements of it, especially in the stalking scenes. There's going to be a lot of point of view, POV. So that's definitely going to be a tribute and a head nod to John Carpenter with that.
Yeah, our big thing on the whole Halloween issue with me is that it's so excruciatingly hard to watch something when you know that she shouldn't run upstairs. You know you're going to die. Don't run upstairs. It gets old when it's the same old. So we're flipping the script on that. So we're going to try and bring some new flavor to the horror genre.
We really want to try and make the characters do something that you as the viewer would do, because I hated staring at the screens and yelling like, why the hell did you just do that? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do this? In this case, they're going to do everything a reasonable person would do, and it might not work in their favor.
So instead of like running upstairs, they'll run downstairs. Instead
They're
of going
gonna run outside, and it's still gonna go badly.
They'll try to get away.
Yes.
They instantly go bump in the night, and they just say, I'm out of here. It's something.
Yeah, it's just like if I was in a horror movie, it probably lasts about 5 minutes. Or say there's this killer on the loose, like I'm out, goodbye. That's like that's what like
You'd be a survivor probably. That's great.
They're gonna hear a strange noise and decide not to investigate it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I always hated that. Like, what is this strange noise? I think I'll step out the porch and check it out. Hello? It's like, no. I'm like you. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Or like when they find the body and their first instinct is not to look around the room to make sure there's no one in there with them.
Yeah, it's like, I think this room is empty, even though it has this dead body with like about 30 stab wounds in it. So speaking of horror tropes, what are some others that are just like, no, these like, I've had enough of seeing this over and over and over again?
I mean, I'm not big on the whole sexual, like, I don't know why sex has to be part of horror. It's really, I think it kind of dumbs down a lot of horror. I think that we need to keep it raw, keep it bloody, keep it sad, and keep it, I mean, almost to a sadistic level where you are thinking about being in these people's shoes and what would I do, and they're doing it, and maybe it is not going the way it should. Maybe they do get away. I don't know. We'll have to see. Well, I do know. But
yeah, I do know. I'm a part of it.
It can't, I mean, like, when I watch any horror movie that has any kind of sexual stuff towards it, like rape and stuff like that, it's immediately dead for me. I've walked out of so many movies just for that reason. I'm just not about it. So that this is going to be raw and mean and angry.
Yeah. There was a meeting we had initially where we actually discussed things that we viewed as off limits, and that actually was the very first one we brought up. We all said that just was a bit off-putting. I personally just could not stand watching like animal deaths. I thought it was a bit too cruel and I don't know, too visual for me. Because I remember the old Halloween movies where you find dead dogs and eating them, and that just made my stomach churn every time, and not in a good way.
Yeah, we don't like people. We want people to die.
Yes. Yes.
We also didn't want somebody to move into some house in the country and for it to be haunted by the old inhabitants from 100 years ago.
Or paranormal activity when you're a month into weird stuff happening and you're thinking, I'm just going to sleep in the same bed tonight.
Oh no, is the carpet shaking?
I'd burn the house down.
Oh, hell yes.
Yes. Or just even in Evil Dead. Yes, I do love Evil Dead, but the minute they saw the Necronomicon and be like, oh, look at this strange book, let's just recite these words. It's like, no, what are you doing?
I mean, have you seen Terrifier?
Terrifier, no, I have not.
Okay, so new movie on Netflix right now, okay?
Okay.
The movie was awesome, like a throwback to horror, kind of what we're looking at doing. But it lost all of it at the end when it turned into some supernatural crap. It could have just been a guy in a clown suit hacking people up, and it had everybody that watched it. The very end, he comes back to life and is like electrocuted back to life. I'm like, come on, like it's okay if you don't die. Why do we have to kill people and the killer come back to life? In real life, people kill people and you never find them.
Yeah, exactly. And just like when I heard kind of like an aside, whenever I heard like, oh, like the 2018 Halloween did so well, they're thinking of like making a sequel to it. It's like, no, because if you do that, then you're kind of messing with the lore of Michael Myers, and that's just going to be dumb.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'm also bored of the lack of personalities with killers these days. They don't do it like they did back when I was young.
Yep.
So
there used to be something to it at first when you had a stoic, non-verbal character that just acted without any sort of warning. But then when you do that over and over again, then you kind of know what to expect. You know that, oh, they're going to go around this corner, and that guy's just going to be standing there. This character for this movie is going to be very vocal and just, how do I say this? Very eccentric and sadistic. He's very wisecracking. It's going to be amazing.
Essentially, the Fiend is going to be a hybrid between Twiggy Ramirez, Doc Holliday, Freddy Krueger, Candyman, and Ace Frehley. So if that gives you any kind of gauge of those 5 main points.
Yeah, he's twisted. There's problems with him.
So he's going to be a killer where you'd be able to look at it and be like, okay, this guy's nuts.
You're going to also enjoy laughing with him a little bit, too. And that's why there's going to be something relatable where he could possibly have the ability to end up on T-shirts and stuff like that.
The new Captain Spaulding.
Yeah, he certainly,
If only.
He's going to be somewhat likable, even though he's doing horrendous things. You may relate to him a little bit.
So that's the kind of characters that I like seeing. Just like they're like, oh my god, you can tell they're purely just evil, but then you like watching them. They're interesting.
Yeah, right.
So now, is your killer going to have a backstory as to why he does the things that he does, or are you just going to go the whole, he's crazy and we're not going to explain why?
So this one, we're planning sequels already. So this one might not explain why he's doing or why they're doing what they're doing. So the viewers and everyone out there is just going to have to watch to find that one out.
Oh, dun dun dun. It's like, why does he do the things he does? Tune in to the next movie.
There we go.
This has already got me excited. So where did this idea come, or like how did it come about? So I know you already kind of mentioned like, hey, like these two came to me with like this good idea, and I figured, but was there anything else just like beyond that sparked like the initial? Yeah.
Well, this whole thing started, my aunt came to visit me. I've been watching horror movies with her since I was like 6 years old. She came to visit me. We were walking around Home Depot, and I grabbed this giant screw, and I was like, why hasn't someone used a giant screw to kill people? And then I started laughing. I'm like, I should make a movie called You're Screwed. And like, we just started cracking up. And then I'm like, when we make a second movie, because this is going to do so well, we can do You're Screwed too. So it was like perfect. So then I put a feeler out on Facebook saying, hey, I'm interested in making this movie. Is anybody interested in helping me out? And these two guys right here jumped right in. We started talking about, everything, and everything changed. The movie became goofy to amazing, to scary, to sad, to, just gory and nasty. We're kind of putting all of everything that we're good at all into this, and it's cool that we're getting this awesome creative like mojo from it, because we come from such different backgrounds, so us all throwing in our magic into it is creepy. We're sick people.
The excitement's really there too. So we all know each other from playing adult league, beer league hockey.
Oh.
So that's how we all ended up meeting. But it's funny because we were in warm-ups before our game the other night, and instead of shooting and passing, we started talking about scenes and what we were gonna do. So.
And I almost punched a guy during the game, so it definitely is helping with the aggression.
You go play like that, and then immediately you're right in the goriest scene ever as soon as you leave.
Right.
Now, I think my favorite part is the fact that we're actually having to reel each other in because of how far we're wanting to take it. Peter will do something that's a little too creepy, and we're like, no, we gotta be a little more conservative with it. Jesse will be something that's a little extra bloody, and we're like, we need to actually see the face then. And I'm a little more on the emotional aggression side of things, and we have to reel that back too a little bit.
How does the script writing process work for something like that? Like, I'm a writer, but I don't write scripts, and it's always, like, fascinating me, like, how people can just churn out scripts, and it's all cohesive and awesome, it flows well. So, how does the script writing process work for something like this?
Okay, so for this, what we're doing is we're breaking things down into scenes. We've been working on the first main intro scene right now. It's like 16, 17 takes for just the intro. Within the intro, we write down what's going to happen, and then we write in what we want
To be said,
Angie to say, what we want this person to say, where the camera's going to be for that shot. A lot of what we're doing too with the killers is I'm letting them have some creativeness during the shot. So if they want to push something and it flows and looks right and it sounds right, I'm going to let it go. Even if that's not in it and it feels right, I want it to be part, because they're going to become these people. And they're sick, nasty, sadistic people. They're not people you want to run into, especially camping. You just don't want to run into these people. Exactly. And, I mean, that's really it. Script writing is so difficult because we didn't audition people for the roles. We found people for the roles, friends, people hitting us up on Facebook. And now we're all putting in words into their mouths, and we're going to have to see how it flows, and we're going to have to work with that, which is really fun. For the budget we're working with, it's a blast, and everyone's having a great time with it.
Oh, so it's a more of an independent film, so just working on an independent type of budget.
Yep.
So, okay, cool. Do you feel that it being an independent film gives you like a little bit more freedom as to how you want to do things?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just got to worry about them telling me I can't do that. So.
Yeah. No, you can't do this.
Yeah, I can't kill kids. There's just certain things I can't do. I can't get away with on this one. So, but yeah, I love the whole indie atmosphere of it all because that's where movies started. Horror has always been that strange genre of, there's people that just won't watch horror. Why? Yeah. Why won't you watch horror? Why won't you go to haunted houses? Why? Yeah. Because it fuels something in you that makes you hate it. It's fun. You can watch The Christmas Story a million times. I mean, horror slaps you in the face if it's done right, and it gets you thinking. Now you're scared. You're looking outside. You locked your door. You sleep with your door locked in your house, in your bedroom. Like, what else does that? When you watch an action movie, do you jump in your Prius and drive 90 miles an hour? Don't listen to him. He doesn't do that.
Nah.
But horror is one of the only genres that really attacks you, from an outside perspective. You're watching this and you feel for these people, or maybe you're crazy and you're rooting for the killer. I don't know.
Only if the characters were kind of annoying, like in Cabin in the Woods.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just kind of like rooting for them to all die, and then I was just rooting for just like all like the monster gods to like take over everything.
Oh yeah. I actually love that movie.
So one of the ways that we're actually going to try and change things up, and maybe it will actually change people's perspectives on what annoys them for these characters, is we're going to flip the script. Instead of the female whore character who you can tell that she's just promiscuous and she's constantly with people and whatnot, it's going to be a male character and he just can't keep it in his pants. And based on the way society looks at men and women, based on how many people they've been with, it could actually change how you view the character. Yeah. What was it? The athlete character, which is normally a roided out jock.
Yeah.
Some big guy, some Chris Hemsworth, is going to be a female and a badass one at that. If I am allowed to curse a little.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So it'll be a nice spin on it for the script, but it'll also be nice for the viewer to see if they look at them differently.
That is also initially what made me be like, wow, because the girl who's pretty much the whore or the slut in horror films, people are just like, ew, look at this slut. But if it was a guy, just, society tends to view that in a different way. So, and especially like the whole like athlete thing. I'm trying to think of like other like horror stereotypes. The nerd, the scholar, the burner, the one who smokes a lot. So how are you gonna
you got that covered.
Yeah.
You got that covered.
So, can you tell a little bit about how you're going to flip those roles, or do you want to keep that a little bit secretive?
Yeah, we're still working on it a little bit. We're trying to keep that a little bit fun. It's most of that's going to come down to the whole script writing for each character. I'm in my little mad scientist laboratory figuring all that out, and it's craziness in there.
I think a big part of it as well is, each one of these people that's going to be acting in the movie, they bring in a certain personality on their own.
Right.
So we go into this for the hippie character or the stoner character, for instance. We go into it with the mindset, okay, it could be the conspiracist, it could be the burnout, it could be the peace and love type. But until we start hanging out with, it's Megan Freeze, she's going to be playing that role. When we meet up with Megan and have a drink, get to talking, we'll kind of feel out what character we think she'll be able to portray the best.
That's interesting. That is a good way to approach that. It's like, okay, so you're going with their personalities, like really more than anything else.
Because it will be difficult if someone's not even remotely in that direction to make them pretend to be something they're the exact opposite of.
I like that. I like how you're approaching it like a lot. So you want to give it like a more overall kind of natural feel when it comes to the acting.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, and where is the setting of your film? So is it, I know you said you're from the Tampa area, so is it just going to be like...
Woods of Florida.
Florida.
If there's tons of stories, if you just look up crazy Florida and...
Just listen to the radio every day.
Watch cops. Just get off the highway and go into the woods.
Yeah, more strange things happen in Florida than anywhere I've ever heard of. So... Yeah, so I don't want to lose you.
Oh, no, that's okay. That's okay. Well, yeah, it's just like, Florida's kind of weird. Sorry.
It is.
Like...
So at the moment, we actually have 2 locations booked. The campsite itself, the woods area, is in Hudson. Jesse procured that area. And then Rolando's Cigar Bar in Dade City, Florida, is allowing us to shoot our second opening scene at their establishment. And yeah, that's as much as I can say about that scene.
Oh, it's gonna be such a fun scene. Yeah, we're going in with a bang, and there's no lulls in our movie. I can't stand where I have to listen to people talk for an hour and prepare for their trip, like Blair Witch, and shaky cameras and everything.
Yeah.
We're not doing this. We're showing, you're going to see everything, and more importantly, you're going to hear everything.
Oh, yeah.
I'm real big on sound. We are going to put sound on the map for indie films in general. I mean, I'm really pushing sound as a main category for our film. If you can make a brilliant movie and make it look beautiful, but if you can't hear what's going on, it's absolute trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of horror is about the visceral reaction, like what you see and what you hear. The atmosphere is such a huge part of horror films.
Yes.
I think my favorite part in horror films is when they have an absence of sound. So that way, whenever they'd have a footstep or a twig crack or something small, it just pierces through because you've gone so long with no noise whatsoever.
All right, so the jump scare aspect, I believe, is what you're talking about there, if I'm correct.
Not necessarily. More like when a person is has their back turned to a killer who you can see is walking up on them.
Yeah.
But you're just going complete silence the entire time. is that by the time you get closer and closer, all you hear is just breathing, and it just adds to the suspense of it all.
Yeah, we're not gonna play the whole cheap jump scare thing. That's not what this is gonna be about. This is gonna be about hopelessness, pain, agony, sadness. You know, like, you really screwed up. You know
I'm gonna
what I
throw
mean?
in, and I'm gonna throw in some atmosphere too, because I listed some influences before, but one thing I neglected to talk about was my love of the old silent films of the 1920s and 1930s. Films like Nosferatu, the lost film London After Midnight with Lon Chaney, with, you know, the famous beaver hat and everything. And they had such cool settings and all that. So there's certain elements that they're big on sound, and I'm huge on visual representation to make you uneasy and to hope you never run into a space like that.
Yeah. Thank you for atmosphere and not using cheap jump scares and for not killing dogs or cats.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah, please don't do
Nobody's
it.
gonna come out of a TV either.
That would seem like kind of weird though, if all of a sudden it's just like somebody came out of a TV. It's like, okay, wait, I thought this movie was supposed to be about something else.
Yeah, there's no supernatural in our deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing that at the time, that movie you're talking about, The Ring. It's like, oh god, this is so scary. And I watched it like several years later, like, not several years, like 10 years later. It's like, what? This wasn't scary at all. I
would just give my TV to the neighbor.
I love how Scary Movie made fun of it, where they had her come out and they had the chick just start whooping her ass. Like,
yeah, just like she's sitting there just eating popcorn, like just shoving it. Sydney, the TV's leaking. I love those. Yeah, how Scary Movie made fun of that. And I'm trying to think of something else. The cheesy kind of horror movies of the 90s are just like, you know, like, why did I think those were scary? Maybe I was more scared as a teenager than I was, like, you know, and now, I don't know, I'm kind of case hardened. Do you guys, like, kind of feel that way, where it, like, takes, like, more and more to get you all scared?
I rewatched the original It movie because of the remake that was made, and I felt that exact same way.
Yeah.
I did too. It's just like, oh, I was 10 when that came out. It's like, oh my god, this is so scary. And then I rewatch it. It's like, this is cheesy as hell. What the heck?
And you go into watching it for the second time, and you're just like, okay, I'm not sleeping well tonight. And then you get done with it, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, the very last movie that got me just kind of terrified. And I'm going to say that even when I saw, like, the newest Halloween, I was like, this is a good story, but there were some moments that made me go, huh, but I wasn't, like, terrified.
Yeah.
Trying to think, probably The Babadook is the last movie that got me.
London After Midnight imagery in there for sure, with the hat and everything. For me, it was
definitely with the shadows.
Yeah, definitely the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari was in there too. For me, Jesse alluded to earlier, but Terrifier was just an old throwback, scary as shit.
So one of the big ways that we're also trying to stand out, because with every 80s slasher movie, they had an iconic weapon or something about. Freddy had his glove, Jason had machete, Mike Myers had his butcher knife, even Chucky had the little knife.
Candyman had his hook.
Yeah, Candyman had his hook, and that was how you had them stand out. So we went through quite a few things, and we decided on a weapon of choice that has not been used yet, but it will still be iconic nevertheless.
Oh, okay. And also, you talk about how each kind of those famous killers has an iconic weapon. Well, also, most of the time, and I remember sound was mentioned as, like, a big deal. Also, these killers, you think about it, they have a theme, a musical theme that goes along with them. Like, if you hear that, you know, that's Michael Myers, that's Friday the 13th, that's Freddy. Yeah. So you hope to, like, kind of accomplish that same thing with the killer in this movie?
Yeah, the Fiend is going to have both of those. I can promise you that.
We're working almost like with, like, kind of like a Clockwork Orange kind of flavor with the music, where it goes with the scene. That's been one of our biggest thing, is the music and getting that approved. we have some strange music that is perfect for every time someone gets hurt.
And we've gone ahead, Jesse has gone ahead, tried to reach out to get the rights to use some of those songs. And so far we have 3 that just got approved. Midnight by the Vampires, Night Call by Kravinsky, and Run Run Away by Slade.
Yep.
Nice. So are they all kind of like rock songs? Or are you going kind of that vibe as well?
No, they're a strange 80s rock.
Rock.
Like,
yeah, you know that. I mean, the 80s were weird.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What I guess now could
Kind of like Duran Duran on heavy drugs, I guess.
Yeah. Like, we're all big fans of, what's the instrument? For our main song.
Yeah, I know. No, I know what you're talking about. 'Cause I just listened to it like 3 times.
Lisa plays it in Simpsons.
The saxophone.
Saxophone. We like the saxophone. So, like,
Kind of a jazzy.
I mean, have you ever heard anyone get killed to a saxophone? I mean, probably not.
Not to my knowledge.
We also liked it when the music, the lyrics themselves, kind of sync up to what is happening.
Yep.
For instance, one of the songs in particular that we're trying to get, and they haven't reached back with us yet, is Minute of Decay. And there's
Marilyn Manson.
Yes. And one of the lines that's used, it's the Minute of Decay, and we would want to like sync up that that scene to like smoking a cigarette while that line is being portrayed. And even though the viewer probably won't catch it, if you slow things down, I love it when you slow things down in a movie and you catch the little intricacies that get added in.
Oh.
Whether it's a newspaper clipping, a newsreel, something.
Wow, that sounds like an interesting concept, like actually linking up the music lyrics to kind of the things like what are happening in the movie.
Yeah.
I like that. I like the cut of your jib, as they say. Because most
Give that a listen. It's the 14th track off Antichrist Superstar.
Okay.
So, and another thing is, so some of the songs are going to be, they're not going to sound as suspenseful. They're actually what you would kind of imagine as, upbeats and kind of fun songs. And we would try to play them, just to add a little suspense and funny aspect to the scene, because the music will sync ironically to what is happening.
Yeah.
I like that, because most of the time in horror it's just like instrumental. Sometimes you'll have a random rock track thrown in there, and then the killer will have his like own theme song, especially if you're talking about 80s slashers like Friday the 13th Part 6, that Alice Cooper song.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, like if you were to use that new song, Ariana Grande's "Thank You Next," and literally it's a scene of "Thank you, cut." Thank you, cut ahead. Thank you, and just it's singing up ironically in those moments.
Oh, jeez. That is gonna be funny to see that in there and see how it all comes together. So this sounds like a big passion project, like for you three. Just hearing you talk about it, I could just hear like the love of horror just like come through, and just like how excited you are to see this finally come together. So how are you hoping this movie will be received by the horror community at large? So like it gets finished, it comes out, what are your hopes?
Yeah, so my big thing with this is I want to show people that an awesome movie can be made without backing from all of these giant companies and without all the BS from the media, like at large. Like, we can talk to people like you that have a podcast, right? And you're bringing us in. And then, if people like the movie, if the movie is good, that it speaks for itself. We don't need $800 million to make a movie. It's just something you don't need, especially nowadays with the way that these camcorders and phones and everything. I mean, you're walking around with $1,000 video camera every day, so it's something that people didn't have in the 80s, in the 70s, and and beyond. So we're taking what we have and building this. I mean, we just hit, I think, $500 on our GoFundMe.
Yep.
We bought a $1,000 camera for like $350. I mean, all of our sound equipment and everything we buy used. We're making this to show people that you don't need the backing of these giant places. You can have freedom. This is art. It's supposed to be free. You know what I mean? Like, we are doing this for the love of it. If it catches on and people love it, that's what we're doing it for. And if it doesn't, we'll learn and build something better the next time.
Yeah. So how are you hoping that this will be released? Are you going to do it like in a digital format, DVD? So how is that going to work?
Yeah, I plan on us going digital. We have some things coming up. I can't really talk about that yet. I'm so sorry. But we have some plans of getting it out on a bigger picture. But I really want to appease the free market with this. Yep. I mean, I want you to be able to view it. I mean, you can go on YouTube and view almost any movie you want. So that's what we're doing this for. We're not doing this to make money. We're doing this because it's amazing and fun. Yep.
All right, so it's a pure passion project.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that is something also, if I may compliment, that is very rare to see nowadays. It's just like, I love it when people just do art in a sense for the sake of art.
We're not going to have any bird boxes in this or anything like that.
Yeah, yes.
The viewers covering their eyes.
Yeah, I can't believe that was actually like a challenge that people like tried to do. Netflix actually had to say, I can't believe we're having to say this, but yeah, don't do anything blindfolded, please.
Yeah.
It's like Tide Pod challenge at that point.
Right.
That's why we're going to kill some people. Some people are going to die in this movie because we're tired of people.
Yeah.
If you're willing to do this, just go ahead and do it. You're slowing us all down.
Yeah, like, maybe, like, get rid of a few people that text and drive, because that, like, annoys me, like, to no end.
What was that saying from that episode, Jackie? It was like, running with scissors, tragedy or public service?
Oh my god!
You'll only take once.
So you've mainly been trying to get the word out there through Twitter, Facebook, so social media. So is that the main platform that you're using to promote this film, or digital platforms?
It is. We're pushing it on Facebook and Twitter. And I mean, that's it, isn't it? And Twitter, yeah. Facebook.
So our Facebook
Instagram.
page is Your Screwed Movie page, and it has links to just about every other site. It also has links to our GoFundMe account. I think it's coming up on 200 followers right now. We started about a week and a half ago. The Instagram, which was started within a week ago, is 60 followers, and it's Your YOURE, no symbol. _screwed_the_movie. And then the account that you contacted us on is the Twitter one, which I believe is at 160 followers, and we started it 5 days ago, is at RE_screwed. And so we're trying to use these social media accounts so we can promote not only, the product and our message, but to try and build some sort of following so that way when we make a new one, we'll have even more people are interested in it again.
Mm-hmm.
Someone also commented in my chat that said that I love their passion. So it's just like, it definitely just like comes through for...
We love you!
Yeah, we love you! Like, and I definitely hope, like, I will definitely do all that I can to make sure, like, to spread the word of this wonderful, wonderful film that I can already, like, know that I'm going to, like, enjoy it and just, like, I'm going to have a good time with it, because I, too...
After a long day of work,
yeah.
You're going to watch this, and you're going to...
be 10 stuff for work the next day.
You're going to be so excited, and you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just make sure to, like, watch it on the weekend when I don't have to worry about work. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have this fantasy in my head of, like, I keep envisioning The Evil Dead, the original one, and how it was, 6 friends, they rented a cabin for $500 for the weekend, and they ended up spending, I think it was like $1,000 total for the entire thing. and it became a cult classic and all kinds of stuff. And I have this fantasy in my head that that's what will happen with this, that we'll promote it to a few people who know about it, and then all of a sudden just takes off.
Like true, true
we want
viral
it to
word
be
of
about
mouth.
the people. Yeah, we want it to be about the people. We want to show that we don't need to spend all this money on advertising. We want people. We're going to let out little sneak peeks. If you like it, share it.
Yep.
Spread the word. Let's see what we can do. Let's start a wave. And if it's awesome, let's keep riding the wave.
Truly going old school there as far as that goes. Like, kind of using the digital platforms to your advantage, but purely just like making this almost like a word, quote unquote, of mouth type of experience.
You feel it. I see. I got you.
Yeah.
You can get our next hockey team to be your Screwed and go to Jersey.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, I am a bit of an 80s child like myself. I was born in 82, so I grew up on a lot of the old like horror, like slasher things, so I feel you. I got you.
Nice.
Yes. So that's why I was just like so excited to like get you guys on to be able to talk about this. So, is there... Oh, go ahead.
We want blood and gore. I mean, that's really what we're pushing for, and we want pain.
And one of the big things that I'm really excited about, and I think a lot of people will like it because it's how I was, since we don't have this huge budget, we're not doing CGI, nothing along those lines, the blood and gore is actual props that we're going to be doing. It's like the original Hellraiser movie when the Cenobite was walking up the stairs and dragging that hook up the wall, and you could see it scratching and the blood dripping down. And even though the blood looked a little fake and the wall looked a little flimsy, that scared the living crap out of me. And that's what I want to do, something that looks real.
Oh, God, you bring up Hellraiser, and just, like, still to this day, I'm just like, that's the movie that nearly almost scarred me for life.
Yeah, Pinhead was terror. Like,
All of this scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, Clive Barker, for, like, being, like, a source of nightmares.
I'm not gonna lie though, that girl was really hot.
Oh, you're talking about the first one?
Yeah, like, I don't know why. I'm not really into that kind of thing, but that was pretty hot.
Speak for yourself.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, just even, like, thinking about that movie to this day, it's like, I feel like the hairs, like, kind of rise up on my arms and the back of my neck. I'm like, no!
Yeah.
No, but it's also good that you're also wanting to show with this film, like, yeah, we want gore, we want pain, but it's also good that you're also recognizing that's not all there is to horror. There's all sorts of other stuff involved in that genre, too.
I mean, there's definitely going to be some influences with, I mean, kids were terrified of Freddy, yet he was on lunch boxes and things like that. And it's because of lines like when he took the aspiring actress in Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and put her head through the TV and said, "Welcome to primetime, bitch."
Oh my God!
It's gonna be, so the theme is going to have things like that.
Yep.
And so, again, that's a complete nod and about Robert Englund and Freddy.
And in my eyes, I feel like that's actually one of the biggest tropes about 80s slashers, is that it kind of made you laugh while freaking you out. And that's a big premise of The Fiend, is to kind of act crazy, but like kind of make you giggle as he's doing something malicious.
Yeah, because we're all kind of creepy. We all have it in us to do awful things. It just is. In The Fiend, he is what we all could be on our worst day and our best day.
What you imagine doing to that guy who just cut you off.
Yeah, like if someone made you mad, he's gonna handle it.
And if you had a resting pulse of about 30 beats per minute.
Oh Lord. Oh my gosh, yeah. It's so hard though too sometimes to pull off a balance of horror and comedy to where you're scaring people but trying to also make them laugh at the same time. So it's like I'm very curious to see how you all pull that off.
Yeah, it's gonna take some work.
So are we.
Yeah, it's like we're curious too. It's just like, yeah, if you want to tell us how it will turn out, just let us know.
I think one of the best things that's working for us is the fact that the 80s have passed, and so all of their tricks and secrets on how they did those kind of scenes, they're now YouTube videos to be watched. I mean, even Bird Box was just aired. I mean, he came up with this idea separate from this, but you know, you're watching it, and they do a trailer where they're talking about how they shot certain scenes, why they had these certain hues like that. Just simple lenses can make a huge difference between a high contrast or a low contrast and what it would look like, and we can view that and then use it to our own advantage.
Okay. So yeah, the stuff is like already there. It's just a matter of just like, in a sense, just putting it all together.
Exactly. Well, perfect scene. In the Evil Dead, at the very end, when Bruce Campbell, you see the spirit in the POV shot run through the house and hit Bruce Campbell in the face, the very end scene. You know, you can watch a documentary on how it was Sam Raimi on a bicycle with the camera on the front of his bike, and he literally rode down a hill through the house and straight into Bruce Campbell all in one shot.
Yeah.
And that's how they shot that scene. Yeah. So, you know, you watch that and you're like, well, I got a bike.
Yeah, I got a bike and I got a camera. Let's just get this thing going.
Yeah, we're shooting old style. And one thing that I liked about old style of shooting is that it wasn't all this motion craziness with hand cams. Excuse me. Like, it drives me crazy that you can barely watch the Blair Witch and different stuff because it makes you sick. You know, just a lot of these movies that are hand cams just make you so sick. So we didn't want that to be the focal point of you getting sick watching our film. I don't mind if you puke because you're disgusted,
It's a compliment.
but I don't want you dizzy because of the camera.
Right, and it's
Shouldn't need Dramamine for our movie.
No.
yeah, I mean, props to the Blair Witch. I mean, because it's the one that started just like spawned like a whole new kind of offshoot of horror, and I did watch it once, I think. Yes, once, and I liked I liked what was going on with it, but it's just like motion sickness. I have like a motion sickness thing.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Yeah. No, it's just like, yeah, it's like I don't want to like puke like because I'm sick. I just want to puke because I gross out maybe.
Yep.
Then,
It's also it's kind of similar to how they're doing on the computer screen horror movies now, which I know some people like that. Me personally, I don't, and I feel like it's like a visual claustrophobia where like you can't, your character's not moving or it's moving too much, and you as the viewer just like, you just want them to move. You want something to move, and you can't see that.
Yeah, we want you in the movie. We want you being there. I want you to feel like you're there watching this happen. So a lot of our shots are all like that. Like you are witnessing what is happening, and you can't help them.
No. But yeah, yes, but no. That's gonna be like an interesting kind of thing. Almost like we're a passive observer.
Yep.
Type of thing.
Yep.
Okay. Y'all got me like so excited for this, just like already, like really, and oh wow. So you're hoping to like have it all done by April? You're putting yourself on a pretty tight schedule there.
Yeah. Well, luckily, because we're using 2 locations, you know, we could spend all day in one spot and not have to worry about, you know, jumping to this street or this back alley, or, you know, we can go camping in that one area of the woods for 3 days and shoot hours and hours and hours of footage.
Yep.
All right, and let's see here. So you're shooting in 2 locations just like right now. Are you hoping to add any more locations?
The area that we have for where most of this takes place is massive. So we're going to use other locations on location.
Okay. Locations on location.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, so I'm trying not to ask like too much to where it would like give like the entire plot away. Like I don't want to do that. I'm not that mean.
No. Nothing plot related, but like as a behind the scenes thing, you know, the woods are so big that you could seem like you're doing another woods area, but you're technically still using the same site because the viewer wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Oh, okay, I get you. So yeah, that saves like a lot of time, like when you're shooting.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of people are scared of the dark, and I want to push that as a natural fear, the natural element. I mean, I'm 34 years old, and if I go camping with my kid, I'm scared. I mean, I'll never tell him, but if someone came out of the woods with a machete, I'm going to die. You know what I mean? Like, I have no aspirations of me finding a log and trying to beat him up with it, you know? It's just, he's probably going to kill me. If I'm sleeping in my tent and he rips it open, I'm going to die. You know, there's no hope for anything else. A cop isn't going to come save you. You're in the woods camping by yourself.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Stuff happens when you party naked.
Don't I know it?
Jeez, yeah. Horror movies are the reason why I don't really want to go camping.
Exactly. That's why people don't like to go in the ocean, because of Jaws and stuff like that. I mean, we're keeping this all natural.
Honestly, I'm afraid of the ocean for the same reason that people are afraid of the dark. I hate what I can't see.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hate swimming in water when you can't see what's beneath you. It's the same thing as someone in the woods. You can't see into the darkness, and that freaks people out.
Well, and it's real. People go missing.
Yep.
I mean, people go missing. Hikers go missing all the time. Is it because they got lost? We don't know.
I mean, I went camping in the Everglades a few years ago, and there were at least 50 missing person signs in the bathroom. So I went into the campsite nervous about snakes and spiders, and once I went to the bathroom and saw all the signs, I was worried about much more than that. So
Jaguars.
Stuff does happen.
Too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, hiking stories too. It's like, I'm not gonna go hiking or camping or like anything that puts me like near the vicinity of the woods. Yeah, I'll stand on the edge of the woods, but that's probably about this as far as you're gonna get me.
That might be as far as you need to be for us.
Yeah.
That sounds ominous. Oh, you three. You're a handful. That's like I can already tell. You're a handful. But I really enjoyed talking with you just about this film. And I don't really know what else I could ask without it like giving like too much away, to be honest.
No, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time, for spreading this around, for being such a great interview.
Completely agree.
You've been so amazing. Your enthusiasm. I mean, you knew our references were right away. You can see you're clearly passionate. You know, you had somebody write about our passion, but you can clearly see you have it too.
Yep.
So we really look forward. We hope you see it, and I really want to hear your feedback on it too.
Oh,
so thank you.
Oh yes, absolutely. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. So before we officially wrap up, it looks like there was one question related to, I guess, a type of horror film. Let me see this. Okay. So one of my chat asked, what do you all think of movies like Darkness 2002 or The Mist 2007? The endings where the evil either gets their original goal, or in The Mist where the assholes survive.
Yeah, so the whole thing with the Mist thing, I mean, it's such a supernatural thing.
Mm-hmm.
With this, it's completely different because this is more plausible. Yeah, that's what we're trying to make with this movie. Is your car doesn't just break down in the middle of the nowhere and then there's these crazy hillbilly killers. You know what I mean? That's not what happens. So we are trying to make things believable. I have lived 34 years. I haven't seen a fog roll into town with, people becoming killed. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
But I have seen people go missing in the woods. So, I mean, that's really how I feel about that. People go missing, and it's usually not from fog.
And in terms of, what goes around comes around, and if you do good things will happen, and if you do bad, the bad things will happen to you, whatever. You can't always reap what you sow.
No, not that.
You can put in your Bible, but it might not help you here.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in real life, so why would it happen like in horror films? Horror films, there's not necessarily a happily ever after.
Exactly. We want to make you scared of that guy who's hitchhiking, and you just remember our movie or a movie along those lines. you come across that guy at a bar who's mumbling to himself, and you just think to yourself, okay, stay the hell away.
Maybe I won't insult that drink he's having.
Yeah, because there's so many people that
Wink,
suffer from, mental illness. It's a rampant problem, and we don't do a lot to fix that. And they're out there,
Yes.
and so are you.
Please don't have like the old man that suddenly just comes out of nowhere and says, "You're doomed." Like, I'm kind of tired of that, so like, please don't have that.
No geriatrics in this.
I almost want to do that just because you said it.
Oh, I hate you!
I wouldn't go down that road.
Yeah, you don't want to go down that road. It's like,
Oh, Achaha Indians were buried down there.
Yeah, we're not gonna try to be hokey with this. It's gonna be just very raw, in your face kind of scary movie.
Yeah.
okay, so you're not gonna have an old guy riding up a bike say, "You're doomed," and then just ride off.
Well, I'm not done writing. We're not done writing. So
We can put you in though for a credit. If
I
that's
could
what you
add
want.
you writing. You could do it with a pitchfork. I guess it's possible.
Ah!
We'll have you in like overalls, just sitting there cleaning a little, little engine piece, something, but like, I wouldn't go down that path.
Riding an alligator because it's Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah, an alligator with just like a harness is just like, yeah, you wouldn't want to go down that road. Don't go in that swamp. You don't want to go in those woods. And you also spoke of like hillbillies earlier. It's just like, I don't know, that kind of thing may happen in Missouri. We have a lot of hills and we have a lot of hillbillies. So your car may get stalled.
Missouri.
Yeah, yep. So that's kind of like would be a good setting like for a horror film too, because we have lots of woods and hills and yeah. So yes,
we're gonna bring the pain with this movie, that's for sure.
You'll definitely feel it too.
Yeah, yes, lots of hills and lots of billies. Yes, absolutely. Jesus Christ. All right, so to now officially wrap things up. Okay, I know you already mentioned your social media, but tell everybody where they can find you again to keep updated and up to date on information about your film.
So our official Facebook page is You're Screwed movie page. You can even find it attached to one of our sites.
Yeah.
Nicholas Morphew, Jesse Schultz, Peter Mittica. Then we also have the Instagram, which is your_screwed_the_movie. And then finally the Twitter account, which we can, they can find link to yours now because of the tweets that you put out.
Thank you, by the way.
Thank you.
Yes.
At RE_screwed. We try to post pretty regularly, and during the shooting or the writing process, we're going to be taking pictures and posting what we're doing.
Yep. Facebook Live.
There you go. We won't try to give too much away, but for those who like to pay a keen eye, you might spot a few things in the makeup and the background and whatnot. And we hope you enjoy.
All right. Okay. So, my chat just does not want to let you go. So again, like one last question. They want to know what movies you're looking forward to this year so far. So I guess like what I don't know what horror movies are coming out this year though. Besides yours, of course.
See, I'm not really big on the big motion picture scary movies.
Yeah.
I love just going through Netflix and finding weird stuff. I mean, I just watched a movie on YouTube that was disgusting.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's some weird stuff out there. I just watched the Serbian film. Oh my gosh, awful.
What's that one?
Awful movie. Don't watch it. Viewers, don't watch the Serbian film unless you are extremely perverted. and then get rid of your history on your computer.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, one of my best friends is actually a director and producer in LA. And I asked him about why so many remakes are going on, and he told me that the general consensus in Hollywood is that it's already been done.
Yeah.
So it's tough for me personally to want to look forward to remakes and things that have already been done. So I'd kind of rather go back through originals and older stuff. So I looked at not necessarily new in 2019, but what's new to me. And so I love going back through the past and seeing what influenced these and what was cool about them with different technology and time frames.
There was, I don't even know what's coming out in the movie theater either. There was something that was on Netflix for a while that it must have been on for a little bit, but it was surprisingly scary and funny. It was, I don't know if you passed it, it's the one where it's a person, it's a guy in a clown outfit, and he can't, and he can't get the outfit off.
Yeah.
And like, it was stupid that the lore was that basically the outfit was the skin of a demon, and it slowly but surely took him over.
That was good.
But like, the load up to the movie was terrifying. Like, he literally tried to pull the nose off with pliers, and it ripped the tip of his nose off, and like, that stuff freaks me the hell out when you actually see the props.
Although I will amend my answer to, I believe Rob Zombie does have a sequel to The Devil's Rejects.
Oh yeah, that would be the one that I'm most.
So if that's 2019 or 2020, whenever that happens, when that family comes back, I'm looking forward to it.
Was it a remake or was it an add-on?
It's a sequel. Yeah, they're in hell essentially.
Okay, because I know they had died, so I wasn't sure.
No, I didn't like his Michael Myers deal. That was really bad for me. But Devil's Rejects and stuff like that, I've been a big fan of.
Yeah, I actually did kind of like the Rob Zombie version of Mike Myers. Now, I mean, not just because the hulking mask that was Mike Myers was brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of liked the dialogue because it was definitely Rob Zombie-esque. It was just gratuitous and it was graphic and there was so much cursing and sexual, and that's definitely a Rob Zombie thing. But that being said, you know, if someone was to snap mentally, even as a child, I would totally expect him to grow up in a household like that and not some loving family in the suburbs.
Yeah, I can understand that.
And I mean, for me too, I'll echo that, but also from a musical standpoint, grew up loving Kiss. I was born in '82 as well, so they were before my time, but definitely a nostalgia aspect, having an older sister. But I mean, when that movie started out with God of Thunder, and you know, Michael Myers was always big on the stalking, and the first lines of the song of, you know, you've got something about you, something I need, and when you think of him stalking Laurie Strode, whatever, so that definitely did it for me. So
yeah, the first Rob Zombie Halloween I enjoyed, but the second one, I don't know what was going on there.
I'm with you there.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. It sounded weird, like the white horse thing I kept hearing about.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking
about.
It's like Rob Zombie is just like, it's like he took this like too artsy like tactic. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
This isn't like
one of those videos.
Yeah, it's like, it's not an abstract piece in the museum. This is supposed to be like a horror film. I need to like get it to some extent. Like, I don't know what that white horse. I don't know.
Yeah, there was too many coincidences and intangible forces in that film for me to really get into.
Yeah, it's like Michael Myers just is a mythology. It just needs to stay grounded in realism.
As long as he didn't remake the Cult of Thorns, we're good.
Oh, don't give him any ideas.
No, Rob. No.
Yes, you heard it here first. Don't. And then you'll like see like on his Twitter like 2 weeks later, like, I'm gonna be under this. Like,
with like follow up with like, fuck you, you're screwed.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be like tweeting, I blame you.
Yeah, fair enough.
Followed by thousands of angry kids.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, don't blame me. They just said on my podcast I didn't encourage it.
Nice.
Oh, man. So, okay, now I think we're going to officially wrap it up because I know that you guys said that you were going to be working more on your Screwed tonight, and I don't want to keep you for hours and hours, but it has been a blast having you on. And if you want to do another podcast closer to the release of your film, we could definitely stay in touch if you guys would like to do that. Would that be something we would want to do?
I think so. And you know, to extend olive branch as well, if you ever happen to come down to the Florida area in the next couple months while we're shooting, by all means, bring your camera and shoot you walking through the set.
Oh, well, thank you for the offer. It is definitely something that I will keep in mind if I'm down in that area. So,
well, we told her all these beautiful things about Florida. I'm sure she can't wait.
I know, right?
yeah, and missing persons, missing persons, and
95-year-old drivers, all that stuff. So
that's the real horror.
and crocodiles, and it's just like, nah. But yeah, I think probably I could get over my fears.
You might be a Floridian if you find an alligator in a convenience store.
yeah.
Which actually happened 2 months ago, which is why.
What?
Oh, you didn't hear about it? Yeah, it was like nationwide news. A guy thought it'd be funny to throw an alligator in a convenience store. But like,
Well, that was pretty funny.
yeah, it actually was hysterical.
Probably not to the people in the convenience store.
When you grow up here, it's kind of just an inconvenience, not a fear.
Yeah, like,
Like,
this
they literally
damn
crossed the
alligator.
road.
Oh, jeez. I guess, yeah, someone from Missouri, like, wouldn't understand that. We have snakes.
yeah.
Yeah, we maybe have mountain lions, or whatever we call them. I don't know.
Oh my.
We have a lot of deer. They could be annoying.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Oh, Lord. Well, Jesse, Nicholas, and Peter, thank you so very much once again for taking time out of your evening to talk horror and some about your movie with me. I had a great time, and I appreciate you spending time with me this evening.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And you have a good working session tonight, gentlemen.
All right.
Go
Go Slytherin.
Yeah.
Go Slytherin.
Woo! Bye.
Bye.
Once again, I want to thank Jesse, Peter, and Nicholas for coming on to this episode of Terrorific Talk tonight to talk about their film, You're Screwed. Join me again next week for another exciting episode of Terrorific Talk and more exciting, fabulous guests that I can ask the question, why horror too? You can find this podcast once it is uploaded on youtube.com/Brandykins and on Anchor at anchor.fm/Terrorific Talk. Also, if you're interested in becoming a patron of this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Brandykins to see the tiers and rewards that you can get for being a patron. So, to all of you out there, take care and stay terrific, everyone.